So you took a great wildlife photo. First of all, congratulations. But now you want to share it with the world. But where exactly? Are photos still a thing in 2023 or is it really all videos? Social media provide today an unprecedented opportunity for every wildlife photographer to share their work. However, with so many apps around, it can be hard to navigate all the options and so easy to get lost. So in today's video, I'm going to cover all the major social media platforms you could use to share your work, explaining their pros and their cons. And in case you're new around here, my name is Chiara. I'm a wildlife photographer specializing in bird photography, and I've also been a content creator across several platforms. So let's get started. So let's go straight to the point. There's no such a thing as the perfect social media platform, but there are just so many around that you have to make a decision. But then how do you decide? Well, what's best really depends on your individual needs. And to decide, you have to answer these three questions. First of all, why do you want to post in the first place? What's your goal? What are you looking for? The second question is, who do you want to reach? Are you looking to create more connection with other wildlife photographers, or perhaps you're looking for a wider audience? And the third point is, which type of content are you willing to make? And here I'm addressing the elephant in the room, photos versus videos. In case you haven't noticed, video format has started to gain more and more popularity in the past few years. And this changing trend actually led to huge changes in the social media landscape. I will be discussing apps for both photos and videos because I believe that anyway video format provides a big opportunity for wildlife photographers. So let's dive in. And of course, we are starting with Instagram. As of today, Instagram remains one of the most popular apps for general users, but also specifically for wildlife photographers. So the reasons why you should still consider using Instagram today is that there's a huge number of people in there, and those are all people that you can potentially reach. And also, Instagram is really a familiar app for many. Also because the wildlife photographer community is so strong and so active there, that's definitely the place to go if you're looking for like-minded people, or also if you really want to have daily inspiration. However, we have to remember that Instagram wasn't really thought with professional photographers in mind, so we have to deal with quite low quality photos in there, and basically we are forced to use a certain aspect ratio for our photos. However, these are not the only issues that Instagram have. I'm going to say it, this is my personal opinion, but I do believe that Instagram is in decline. What happened recently is that Instagram has been changing a lot. Instagram really tried to chase their competitors, but instead of trying to differentiate themselves, they really got the app worse. And it really feels like Instagram is now struggling to keep their identity. Everything started literally when the CEO of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, literally announced that Instagram was no longer a square photo sharing app. That of course created a huge wave of discontent, especially in the photographers and artists community. But now let's see more in detail what are the issues that Instagram is currently facing. So one of the biggest changes that we saw recently on Instagram is the shift from photos to videos that on Instagram are called Reels. However, the editing capabilities in terms of video creation are actually very poor on Instagram itself. So it's like Instagram is asking us to create more and more video content, but at the same time, it's not giving us the proper tools to do it. Another big shift that we saw recently on Instagram is the one from going from a community-based platform versus a more recommendation-based platform. So traditionally, Instagram has always been pretty community-driven. So basically, you went on the app, you found a photo that you liked, and you decided to follow that person. From that moment onwards, you expected to see more of that person in your feed. However, that really changed recently, and now on your feed, you will see more and more recommended content. That's basically posts, videos from people that Instagram thinks you will be interested in. All of this, of course, is established via the algorithm. And of course, this is a good way to find new people, but at the same time, this really created more disconnection between the followers and the content creator. The third issue that almost everyone is struggling with Instagram nowadays is the lower reach. It's getting harder and harder to reach the same number of people that we used to do in the past. Part of this is related directly to the second point, so of course less of your followers will see your content, but also this is explained by Instagram itself by the fact there's much more competition. There's literally never been so many people creating and posting content on Instagram, so they just have now to divide all that content across those people, so the portion is getting smaller for everyone basically. All these points actually made general discontent really build up on Instagram in the past few years, especially in the photographers community, and I relate to that. I've been using Instagram for over 2 years now, and I've been using it consistently. And I was not just posting photos, I was really studying the platform, trying to be always on top of the changes and try to have a sound social media strategy. And I can promise you that it's been exhausting. Changes in algorithms are a normal part of social media and we have to accept them as part of the game. However, Instagram is not just changing algorithms, they're changing direction all the time and it's just very difficult to keep up. So the latest news is that it will be possible to pay to get the blue verification check mark together with easier access to support service in case needed. And among the benefits in case of paying for this subscription, there was also increased reach. However, after a few weeks, they actually removed that point from the list of benefits. I guess that they've been doing some reading on Instagram or on articles and then they realized that that was definitely not a good idea. Anyway, I still have some hopes that Instagram will find back its identity, so I will keep posting in there. We're actually not moving that far away from Instagram because we are discussing about Facebook, which together with Instagram belongs to Meta. So perhaps it's not surprising that as we have problems on Instagram, we have problems also on Facebook. Well, Facebook is a platform in decline and I don't really see a future for wildlife photographers on Facebook. And I'm talking specifically for people who want to get started now. I think it's very different in case you had a page open back in the days. The only exception why I still think that Facebook can be valuable is actually by using Facebook groups, especially local ones. I think that that's a place to find people in your local area and create more deep connection. Before we move to the next steps, remember to subscribe. I'm really just getting started with the channel, so your support really means a lot for me. We're now moving to the main competitor and also the main reason why Instagram went very wrong, TikTok. Clearly, TikTok is not an app for photos, but for videos. But as I mentioned earlier on, I really think that videos are a huge opportunity for wildlife photographers. Also, TikTok, for the first time, allowed wildlife photographers to reach a new group of people, especially very young ones. Unfortunately, the golden age of TikTok, where everything was going viral basically, is now finished. Also there have been some changes in the algorithm, so now things are getting harder. And also there is some recent news about the possible ban of TikTok from the US, which possibly will have a larger impact because there are just so many users based in the US. However, if you like to create video content, especially short format, although also there TikTok is looking to increase the duration of their videos, I really suggest you to give it a try. Now we're moving to a less popular app, Vero. So Vero markets itself as a social media platform free of algorithm. Basically the posts are presented in reverse chronological order and in many aspects Vero really resembles Instagram in its earlier days. And the app really offers some very good functionality. There are actually many pros about Vero, so especially for photographers, the high quality of the photos. There's no crop needed, and in the app you can zoom on the photo and getting some details in a way that's just not possible on Instagram. They also have a desktop version, meaning that if you're really interested in a photo, you can have and look all the details in there. And at least until now, it's true that there's really no sponsored content. But there are also some issues around the app. First of all, because there's no sponsored content, it's actually quite difficult to find new people to follow. So I really understand that we have to find a better balance between who we decide to follow and the suggestion of new people to discover. Secondly, the app is still quite full of bugs and it can be quite laggy at times. But the major problem that Vero faces right now is the low number of users. There's been quite a movement of wildlife photographers on Vero a few months ago. I think it's when there was quite a big wave of this content on Instagram. However, that really didn't go anywhere, and I don't see the future for the app unless there will be a much bigger movement of people. Of course, there's also another bunch of platforms such as Flickr or 500px. Most of these were actually thought more with amateur and professional photographers in mind, so they're really based on high resolution photos. That's something that we are more lacking in the newer social media. However, the problem in these platforms is that they lack the community aspect, and we know that actually that made all the difference in terms of the survival of these platforms in the last decade. So to conclude, where you should post your wildlife photo, where it all comes down to what do you want to achieve, who do you want to reach, and which content do you want to make, photos or also videos. So in terms of my social media plan, I've decided that I'll stick to Instagram because anyway, it's where I have my community. Now I also have this YouTube channel that requires lots of time, and I do a limited use of both Facebook and TikTok. But now I want to hear about you. What are the social media platforms that you use to share your wildlife photo? What do you like about them, or what are the issues that are in there? Let me know in the comments also if you would like a deep dive in any of these platforms. See you next time.